Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today I got a little quick project I'm doing for the museum, and this is actually a piece off of their 1917 Steam Locomotive, Vulcan Iron Works, a little 040 engine that we run out at the museum. And got a little issue with this. This is off of the reversing gear, or the Stevenson gear. Basically, there's a lever up in the cab of the locomotive that you put forward or reverse, and that determines the direction that the engine runs, this locomotive runs. And it is connected to this arm here that moves this this whole piece here. These arms that come out here actually go to the eccentrics that basically control how the valves run and determine whether the engine is going to be in forward or reverse. And the problem we've got is that this connecting arm here has gotten very loose. There's a keyway in here, and it needs some attention. So we're going to figure out what we can do to get that tightened up. Let's zoom you in here and show you what we're dealing with. I need to take this apart, take it off, and figure out exactly what's going on so we can come up with a game plan to try to tighten that up. So again, here you can see this arm, and you can see the play in there. There is a key, but it's just extremely loose. So I'm going to slide this off. I have to get a hammer and tap it off. Use a lead hammer here. All right. And tell you what, let me get this cleaned up, get my calipers out, measure this key and the keyway, and figure out what we need to do. It looks like that the keyway has gotten wallered out, but let me do a little looking and we'll figure out what we need to do here. So let's take a look at what we got here. I took it apart, and it's got a keyway. This key is a 1/2 inch square, and put it up in the top here, and you can see it's just loose. Put it in the bottom here, it's loose. The keyway is larger than the key, and doing some measuring, I can come in here, it's about 20 thou over. Maybe not quite as much in the bottom there. Same thing here, the top, that's about 25. Get down the bottom and it's pretty much on size. So this thing has just wallered out side to side. Now I gotta sit here and decide what I want to do. You know, my first thought was I would just weld this up, recut the keyway, which I like that idea. The problem is I got to deal with this one up here, and while I could weld that up and rebroach it, welding inside that hole is going to be hard. Plus, this is cast iron. This is not steel. This is steel, so I could TIG that up very easily. This right here, being cast iron, really can't weld it very easily. I could put some braze down in there, some bronze down in there, but you're not going to be able to weld onto that cast iron. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is just make an oversized key. So I got a piece of stock here, and it's pretty uniformly about 20 thou over. I may have to get in there and do some massaging, particularly in this piece here, to get it where it's all the same size. And this right here is easy. I just put that on the milling machine and make it whatever size I want. But I'm gonna do a little bit more playing with this and do a little bit more measuring. But I'm thinking that's what we're gonna do, is we may try to make this key slot here a slightly oversized, and just make a little bit oversized key to fit the slot, rather than trying to redo the slots. All right, I got a piece of stock here in the chuck. What we're going to do is we're going to mill this down to about 520 thousandths, 519, somewhere along in there. Should give me a nice fit in there, over there in the existing slot. Once I get it milled down in one direction, we'll mill it 1/2 inch in the other direction. I'll have a custom keyway, and hopefully that's going to solve this problem. So we're starting out. Turn the phase converter on. I got a piece of stock in here. This is about 5/8 inch thick, And what we're going to do is make a custom key. So it's going to be 520 thousandths, about 20 thousandths oversized in one direction, and then we'll make it 1/2 inch in the other direction. I'm going to start by decking this down to 520. It's starting out again about 5/8, so we've got about 100 thou that needs to come off of it, and we'll just make a custom key and go from there. So let's put this in high speed. All right. Come across there. It's taking about 25 thou per pass. See where we are on the thickness here. So I got about 30 thou more to come off. And all right, about 519, which should be right on the money. I'm going to take this over and test fit that, deburr it, and then we will mill it down to 1/2 inch in the other direction, and we should be in good shape. All right, I went over and test fit this, and it fits fine into the keyway on the arm. We're going to have to widen the piece in the bottom on the mill, but that's no big deal. The main thing is it's nice and tight and snug, no wobbling back and forth, and you know, we're about 518, 519, somewhere along there on the thickness. I did have to come back over here and just shave a tiny amount off until I got it just to the right size. So now what I want to do is I want to take it in the other direction down to 1/2 inch. It's 1 inch thick right now. So we got basically a 1/2 inch to deck off of this. So let's just go back and forth a few times. We should be within about 50 thou. I'm going to get back here behind this where I can read it real good. And looks like we got exactly 50 thou to come off of that. So I'll crank that in. Do the last pass right there. And come back across. All right, let's go see what we got. Got this piece set up over here on the mill machine. We just got it clamped down the table. I did run an indicator down here to make sure I had everything aligned. And I've got a 1/2 inch end mill in here. And again, our new Keyway is about 5/18, 5/17, 18, somewhere along there on the thickness. And so what I need to do is actually widen this groove so that the key will fit down in there. You can see it's starting at the top where it's wallered out just a little bit, and it's almost a nice fit there. So what I'm gonna do, I'll tell you what. All right, what I want to do is I'm pretty well centered in there right now. I'm going to start out by just moving over about 7 thou in each direction. And widen that slot out. I'm just going to use the visual readout. 4, 5, 6, right there. Lock my table down. And start back here at the back. And I'm just going to move all the way down through here. And it's just cutting a little bit out down there in the bottom. Now I'm going to come 7 thou the other direction off of the center. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 right there. And I'm going to come down that side. Widen it out down there in the bottom just a little bit. Now, take our key, and it fits better, but not quite all the way down there into the bottom yet. So I'm gonna, and I purposely did that. I'm just kind of feeling this thing out. So I'm gonna take another thou. And take that one to 8. Come down through here. All right, I'm gonna test fit that again. All right, it's starting down in there. I'm gonna take another thou off the front side now. So I'm gonna go to 8 thou right there. All right, let me do another test fit. All right, we're going to take the key now. That is a nice fit. And I think we are ready to put it all back together. All right, that feels good. Let's take our arm now. And I'm going to have to get my hammer and tap that on there. It's going, but it's tight. I like it. That's exactly what we need. And that is where she goes. That is a nice, tight key fit. That's perfect. All right, I'm happy with that. I wish they had put some type of set screw in here where you could tighten on top of that key, but that's not what they did. And I hate to go re-engineering this thing. There's really not a good place to put a key in here unless I went at an angle on the top. So probably just gonna leave it like it is. But there's no play in that at all. That's a nice fitting key. Well, there we go. One more repair done to the Vulcan locomotive, and I think this will really kind of help things out. I noticed I was actually out driving the locomotive, operating it back for one of the North Pole Express events that they had at the museum a couple of weeks ago, and I was noticing that the timing on the engine was sounding like it was a little bit off, and it was kind of varying as we went, and we got to looking at this and noticed this play in here, and this is all basically helps with the timing of the engine. And with this little bit of a slop that was in this, it was allowing that timing to advance just a little bit, going back and forth every time it went. It was giving some play in there. So hopefully taking this little bit of play out is going to make a difference in how the locomotive runs. We just, like I said, we got to looking at things and realized that was in there, need to be fixed, and I'm the guy that seems like gets to fix all this fun stuff. So there you go, another quick repair, and we'll get this back out to the museum and let them get that back on the locomotive. I'll probably help them put it back on. Probably won't get any video of that. It's just it's not in a very video friendly location where we have to work on this. It's just hard to get in there and get any quality video, so probably just get it put on there and get it back out on the tracks. They're off this weekend for the Christmas and New Year's holiday, so it was a good opportunity for us to take it off without interrupting the service on the locomotive. So we'll have it back up and going for the first of the year. And with that, that's going to be a wrap on this video, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comments are appreciated, and we'll catch you on the next video.